speedometer. "Slow down, Parker, or I'll give you a speeding ticket." I batted Cooper's hand away. "You can't give me a ticket when you're not on duty. Hell, you're not even wearing a tie or one of those bulky police utility belts. Not to mention his short blonde hair looked like he'd been trying to tear it out, tuft by tuft. Surely he'd already clocked out when I'd picked him up at the station a couple of hours ago to find a new place to call home sweet home. His house up in Lead was in the process of being sold, thank God. As far as I was concerned, moving Cooper out of my boyfriend's house couldn't happen soon enough. I preferred my morning after cups of coffee with cream and sugar, not scowls and interrogations from a rigid-jawed Daniel Craig doppelganger. "I'm always on duty, Parker. That's something you should remember the next time you plan to break the law at one of my crime scenes." A snicker came from behind me. "It's hard to belly through the brush when the law is planted in your front seat, Sparky." I slowed and pulled as far to the right as possible on the steep hillside located above Main Street, while a Chevy pickup rattled past. It continued down Star Street, taking the branch onto Centennial Avenue toward downtown. "You're one to talk," I told the old man in the mirror. "What? I shoot straight every day, don't I, boy?" When Cooper didn't answer, Harvey reached forward and flicked his nephew's ear. The squint Cooper aimed at his uncle would have sizzled the backside of a less ornery rooster. But after years of hanging around his nephew, Harvey had a non-flammable set of tail feathers. "Keep it up, Uncle Willis, and I'll shoot straight too. Right at your big toe." I pinched my lips together to keep from grinning when Cooper's focus centered on me for several seconds before returning to the windshield again. "What's got you so buggered up this afternoon, boy?" Harvey asked as I hit the gas and steered away from the hillside. "You should be nicer to poor Sparky. She's trying to help get you situated in some new digs." "Your uncle's right. All I want to do is warm the cockles of your heart. You know, that beating organ in your chest that's coated with glass shards and wrapped in barbed wire?" Cooper smirked at me. That was the closest he'd come to a smile since he'd crawled into the cab with me and unzipped his leather coat. "When did you start letting Uncle Willis call you Sparky?" Harvey had taken a shine to the nickname I'd earned from the captain of Deadwood's fire department after numerous multiple alarm incidents that also weren't my fault. I shrugged. "I've given up on telling him to stop. You know as well as I do when it comes to your uncle that sometimes it's easier to let him do his thing." "You can borrow money on that," Harvey agreed. "You shouldn't encourage my uncle. It only makes him more incorrigible." "Me?" I frowned at Cooper. "What about those illegal traps out at his ranch that you keep pretending he doesn't have?" A sputtering sound came from the back seat. "Ain't a man allowed to defend his property anymore in this country?" "What do you call Bessie?" Cooper asked. Harvey had named his favorite shotgun after a cow. At least I'd always figured he borrowed the name from a cow. Maybe it came from an old flame. Harvey had enough of those flickering around the Black Hills to keep the fire department hopping. "Bessie is my peacekeeper," Harvey explained. "But she ain't enough to scare off those damned Slagton Wangdoodles on a dark night. I've been shopping for a cannon online." Cooper made a choking sound. "I'd advise against it." "A cannon?" I gaped at Harvey in the mirror. "Who do you think you are, Yosemite Sam?" "I'm a Hessian without no aggression," Harvey said, quoting Sam. Chuckling, I slowed to a stop in front of one of my co-workers' new listings, a 3-bedroom, 2-story house built in the early 1900s, high in the Forest Hill neighborhood. The roof of one of my listings, the Galena house, was visible through the bare cottonwood branches below us. The cottage-style house out my window had been renovated recently inside and out, according to Ben Underhill, my male counterpart at Calamity Jane Realty. The updates were clear to see, in spite of the growing gloom, as dark clouds moved into the gulch. From the black shutters bracketing the windows to the fresh coat of gray paint with white trim on the